This is Pivot Perspectives with Chris O'Byrne, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they've learned on their road to success, and get exclusive access on how to implement their success into your life and business. Pivot Perspectives is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Chris O'Byrne.
All right, Ken Burke, thank you for coming on to my show today. Welcome. I'm excited to hear from you.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I'm so excited to be here as well. Thanks for having me.
I have so many things to ask, but I'm going to start with a little bit of what led you up to what you're doing now, because I know there's some good history there.
Yeah, I started my entrepreneurial journey very, very young. And really out of MBA school, I started a company called MarketLive. It wasn't the original name, but it turned into MarketLive. And that gave me my energy for creating companies. And I ran that company for 21 years. I raised quite a lot of money from the Silicon Valley. Sequoia Capital was my first investor. They are the biggest and most known VC firm in the world, but I didn't raise money until about 13 years into the business. So I self-funded it or just funded it through the school of hard knocks, if you will, learning entrepreneurship for the first 13 years of the business. And we ended up with, hundreds and hundreds of customers. It was an e-commerce platform company. We became one of the largest and most successful e-commerce platform companies in the world. We were ranked in the top 5 of Gartner and Forrester, which is what ranks platforms and enterprise platforms in the world. And we did over $2 billion a year in online commerce for our customers. Our customers are like Armani and Party City. And we had so many, we had Johnson & Johnson, Disney, Warner Brothers. Now they're all coming back to me. We had it was a wonderful learning ground of entrepreneurship. And I loved it so much. I ended up selling the company about 6 years ago or so. Took a year off, went and traveled the world, which was phenomenal. And then I just couldn't, I'm an entrepreneur like many of the people that are listening out there right now, and I couldn't stay away. I just wanted to get back into it. I wanted to have purpose and drive and create something. I always say, with the entrepreneurial brain, what created that company, you can't just turn it off when you sell the company. It doesn't just leave you. That brain keeps going, that 16 hours a day of what am I doing? How am I creating? What am I building? And I love growing things. So I jumped in and I said, you know what? I don't want to do e-commerce again. I know I could go back into it, but I've done it for 21 years and I'm bored. Even though e-commerce is still a great area and I could have built another business or 2 or 3 around it. I said, I want to jump into e-learning. I don't know why I wanted to. It was just a desire of mine. And so I first started off by saying, I got to learn how to do this. So I created a company called Entrepreneur Now, which actually educates entrepreneurs all around the world with how to write business plans, how to develop strategy, how to really become an entrepreneur and an entrepreneurial mindset. My curriculum is used all around the world at major universities and throughout a bunch of different learning environments. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to learn how to create the content. So I hired a big production crew, spent way too much money on my content creation. Don't do the same thing that I did because you don't have to spend a lot of money. I had a Hollywood film crew. I had multi-camera shots. I had lights, camera, action, everything. And I really learned how to build content from the ground up and build really good content. And so I got really good at that. And then I started distributing it out and getting royalties like LinkedIn Learning and all these different learning sites. And then I said to myself, well, what do I do next? I'm a software guy and I always wanted to build another software platform. So I built this platform called Microcasting. Well, I didn't build it. My CTO built it. I was the visionary for it. And now we've been going 2.5 years in microcasting. We have a bunch of customers and we're building e-learning environments for customers that we absolutely love. Whether they want to use e-learning for sales and marketing purposes, for thought leadership purposes, by the way, great use for e-learning, or they want to sell their content. They want to do e-commerce. My background is e-commerce. So clearly I built e-commerce into the engine. Our platform now is feature rich and does literally anything that you would want to do to integrate e-learning into your business, it does. Customer portals, e-commerce, whatever. We won't go into the detail of that right now, but I got to tell you, that's kind of the genesis for starting is I love to grow things. I love to grow businesses and I love to be able to add value. And that's really what it supercharges me each and every day.
There are other e-learning platforms. So what makes microcasting so unique and special?
Exactly. And there are a good number of e-learning platforms out there. A lot of old and tired ones, I'll say. There's a lot of ones that are in traditional corporate America. We tried to create, and we did create, kind of a new approach to e-learning. It integrated AI as an example. It integrates other things such as we really created a sales and marketing system that's attached to like a CRM system as much as anything else. So we look at e-learning from how does the user experience the content? How do we integrate it with what you're doing offline? We call the hybrid model, to where you might be coaching or you might be providing your thought leadership or knowledge out to the world. How do you leverage e-learning as a part of a component of that? So we're like an e-learning business system. And we also have some other really unique features. I could get into the details, but basically what we call a multi-portal system, which basically allows you not to have one e-learning site, but many versions of your e-learning site instantly created, so that the user experience can be customized and personalized for that individual user or individual group you might be selling to. That's highly unique in our industry. We just look at it through a different lens. I wanted to create as much an e-learning platform as a thought leadership platform to people. I got to tell you, people have to establish themselves as thought leaders in today's world. There's no question. I did that in my e-commerce company, and that's how I grew it from zero to over. I got to tell you, we sold it for a whole lot of money. And we did that for one reason, because I was a thought leader in the e-commerce industry for 21 years. And that brought in almost all of these major customers that I mentioned earlier. And we're doing the same thing. But now I'm creating a platform that other people can use to become thought leaders. That's one of the major use cases of our platform, in addition to selling your selling your content and programs and all of that.
What are some of the more unusual uses you've seen of people using microcasting for?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we use it in some cases. It's being used for like testing, and I was surprised at how many people we have in the medical industry. That wasn't an industry we were going after at first, but there's a whole world in the medical industry, the financial industry as well. So some of the use cases around that as well. But what we designed it for, it's not necessarily surprising, but I'm so thrilled when I see people using it as a sales and marketing tool to collect leads, to nurture their customers through the process. So if you're selling to a customer, and all of you out there are selling to somebody, you've got to nurture them. So as you're doing that, you're building a relationship. So using the tool to actually, and warms my heart anytime somebody uses it for this use case, warms my heart by seeing people sending out their e-learning free of charge to their prospects. You say free of charge, why is that? Sending out bits and pieces of their e-learning that's specifically designed to then help that customer or help that end customer convert. So my customers are sending it out to their end users to help them along the sales cycle. Maybe you have a 1-month sales cycle or a 3-month sales cycle. You're building trust, you're building authority, you're building thought leadership. As you're building that relationship with the customer, they're much more likely to convert when you're actually working with them and bringing them along. And that's one of the great use cases that we have out there, that every time I see it, I really get excited about it.
Yeah, there's so much possibility and opportunity in that. And even though you and I have talked several times, I'm still trying to wrap my head around all the opportunities that are there. For example, I tell people, you need to have one spot you send people to, one
Yes.
place that you send people to. If I get on a podcast somewhere, I want to send them to one place. Well, if I send them to my e-learning platform, well, they're going to have to sign up. They're going to have to jump through the hoops. It doesn't collect their names unless they do sign up. So how does yours work as a lead gen? Because once you added that makes it exactly what I tell people they need.
Exactly. And I totally agree with you. Sending them to one place to anchor them. And it's not just for e-learning. This can be more broad, where you can explain other your offline services or your additional coaching services or what have you, depending on what the individual is, or what the individual coach, consultant, small business, or whomever is actually using the platform. Now, what I do is we actually open up, we've built a lot of technology in our software to where when somebody comes into the site, we actually have what's called a marketing site, a version of the site that is marketing oriented. So you don't have to sell them something, but you can collect their leads, you can give away free content, or you can just open it up to the public to where they can get access instantly to content. They don't even need to register. They don't need to do anything. But when they actually register either for a free membership or enroll in a course, because you can have an enroll button as well, or they sign up for a paid membership, the site literally instantly converts over to now their fulfillment site. So the exact same site, exact same URL, everything is all the same. So it's transparent to the user. They have a marketing experience where you can really market anything. It doesn't have to even be e-learning. You can market your traditional business. And then as they then transition over from a non-member to a member, we can then reconfigure the site into maybe a free membership site, an enrolled site, or a full-on paid membership, and the sites will configure accordingly, but all under the same banner. One website, not 10.
To me, I think that's my favorite part of microcasting. That ability and that instant switch over. That's something I have never ever seen anywhere else, which reveals so much of your background in e-commerce and business and how that works. What's another favorite piece of microcasting? Another favorite part for you?
Well, I love so many things in microcasting, but I have to tell you, one of the inventions, I don't know if it was our invention or not, but we created it. It's called the learning board. And what it allows you to do is basically customize the individual learning experience, so that if I'm the professor, the coach, the consultant, or whatever, I can literally drag on, for anybody that I'm coaching or working with or what have you, drag on to their palette, if you will, or their learning board, just drag on courses. We call microcasts, which are videos, microcasts are videos, courses or programs, and I literally just drag them on, and then they're alerted automatically that they have something on their learning board. Then the learning board can show up in the universal nav, so as a really dominant area, and then it also shows up in the My Learning section as well. And so that they can be, really, it's a communication vehicle more than anything else, where they're actually being communicated a one-on-one, and you're really crafting them that experience, that learning experience for an individual, which I absolutely love. But we made it a little bit easier. We've put in some additional things that you can drag and drop whole groups of things in. So it makes it a lot easier, so that you don't have to do all the work, if you will. And we are adding a bunch of AI into the engine as well. We're working on it right now. And I have to say, I love the integration of AI and e-learning. There's so much that you can do. Things such as creating video summaries. So when you upload a video or a course, having the AI engine actually take the transcript, which we automatically generate out of our engine. Everybody gets that now. And then we move that over automatically into ChatGPT and say, summarize this, or develop 5 bullet points, or develop key points for this video. And then that shows us supportive text below the video as an example. It's just one of many examples. Or auto writing learning objectives, auto writing quizzes, auto writing descriptions. All of that we're doing in our labs right now, and we'll be releasing that very, very soon. So I'm excited about that. But here's what I'm really excited about. If you want to talk about the future, you didn't ask about it, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway, which is the auto creation of courses. Now, I want to be very careful here. I don't necessarily want AI to be the spokesperson for your course, but I want to help you in using AI as a tool to create the outline. And then what you do in our engine, you go in and you approve each piece of the outline. Then you move over to where you create the script and the graphics that might go along with it. And then you move over. So you're moving, basically you're using AI step by step, approving each section of the course, each lesson or what have you, step by step. But I really recommend then you film the course itself. So you can have all of the creation process of the course, but I want it to be your course. I don't want it to be an AI course that you can generate in 5 minutes. And by the way, go into ChatGPT and try to generate a course. It won't turn out very well. If you do it using my method, where you're creating each lesson and you're thinking about each lesson, so you create the outline, which creates the lessons and gives you all the ideas for the lessons. You think about, is that all what I want? Do I want to add some more? And then you take those lessons and tell ChatGPT, in order to create each lesson and how long you want the lesson, what do you want it to be? Then you review that. And then that all can be dumped into our engine as well. But I still want you to record it. Yes, we have technology that will simulate all of that. Yes, but I think the authenticity of making a human connection, and people know it, is really important. If you want to go the cheap route, yes, there are technologies out there that will do the video for you as well.
I discovered a different video product that a couple days ago, a new feature of it, where you can read off of your script, but the AI that's embedded in it will redo the part of your video, so that it records it as if you are looking directly at the camera while you're talking.
Wow,
So
very cool. Very cool.
The possibilities are so crazy.
There are.
Now,
yeah, and we're just beginning with all of this too. This is really the first year where all of the rest of the world can touch AI. AI has been around. We've been programming AI. We used to call it personalization for 25 years. That is what MarketLive did. MarketLive was my last company. It marketed live. That was what it did. So our team here at Microcasting is actually the same team at MarketLive, a lot of the same people. And so we've been doing this for many, many years, but this is the first year that actual real humans in business world has been able to touch AI. So we're just starting. In other words, to your point, we're really just starting with all of this. There's so much that's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. That's all. But it's been around for a long time. This isn't a new concept. What it is it's just an evolution to where now normal business people can interact with it and get really good results very quickly. And that's great. I use ChatGPT all the time. I love it. So.
Yeah, same here. Now you talked about, I mean, the production, the Hollywood team, all of that. How much does somebody need to put into the production of their course to make it effective?
Learn from my mistakes. Chris and everybody else out there. Chris already knows, but learn from my mistakes. I spent, you don't even want to know how much I spent. My first program had 25 courses in it, or 25 individual courses, about 30 to 45 minutes. It was 20 hours long. Or over 20 hours. I had worksheets, and it's the course of all courses. I got to tell you, if you want to run a business, that is a great course. It probably cost me $150,000 to develop. What a mistake. Now I sit right in the studio, green screen in the back. I got my 2 lights here, my camera, and my teleprompter. And you say, Ken, you use a teleprompter? Chris already knows this. I'm ADHD and dyslexic. Woohoo! Welcome to the world. And thank goodness I'm still alive and got through life. I cannot read from a teleprompter. I have one. It's actually sitting to the right of me. But I have a screen, a TV screen that's 42 inches that I can see Chris on. And if I wanted, I could have my slides on. I literally can build a course in my studio that cost me under $1,000. And by the way, on our website, we actually have a course called Building Your Studio for Under $1,000. Even under $500, you can build the studio with everything you need. And I can literally record a course in an hour. It takes me a 30-minute course I can record in an hour. I usually don't have to retake it. Maybe I take a lesson here. That's it. I build the PowerPoints, which takes me a couple hours. It's got to be something I know about, right? And then I literally come into my studio. I turn on the camera. Literally before this interview, I was rushing. It took me 1 minute to get from my chair to the studio to plug everything in. Everything was already set up. And now Chris is live. Literally 1 minute, because I was late for Chris this morning as well, or this afternoon, and I felt horrible. That's the kind of thing you want to do. And then if I ever want to do an interview like Chris and I are doing, I do these all the time, by the way. What we're doing right now, I do them all the time. In fact, I teach this, how to do this as well, and build courses out of it. Those courses can be done even faster. So literally, that's all you need. I way overspent in the day. Now my courses are even better. They're more engaging, and I spend couple hours of my own time doing them, and that's it. Maybe 5 hours, and that's it. And I do all my own editing and everything within those 5 hours. You want to send it out to Fiverr or wherever, and you pay $100 or whatever. There's not a lot of money involved in this. I want people building courses to be thinking. I want them to be the expert. I want them to deliver the content in an engaging way, not as weird as I am with my hands and looking at the screen and all of it. Right? I'm a little crazy, right? Not everybody is as wacky as me, but you got to be engaging. They say make love to the camera. One of my tips that I teach is, and not only look into the camera, but you notice I'm making eye contact with the camera. Chris is behind the camera, so I'm actually looking at him too, but I'm looking at the camera. That's engaging. Don't look down here. This is not how I want to learn. I want to learn like this, right? Lots of things you can learn about this as well.
That actually took some practice and discipline on my part. Because right now you are down here, and if I were looking at you, it'd be down here, and people are like, "What are you looking at?" So,
I want you to get that. I want you to get that monitor right in front of literally. And I recommend using I use a $200 Logitech camera. They call it the Brio. It's good enough. There are a bunch of other ones out there, but this is like $150 or something. I use my Rhodes mic. I will tell you for your audience is that spend money on your mic. It's a $200 mic. It is the best in the industry. It's a lavalier. Now I'm cheating. I'm showing all the back scenes. It's just this, along with a transceiver that I keep belted here. And you get 2 of these. And that's it. It's about $200 on Amazon, maybe a little bit more. I got to tell you, that's a good $200 investment. Here's what I like about it as well. I literally can pop this in my suitcase because I travel a lot. I pop it in my suitcase in case I ever need to do something with Chris or something with a podcast or whatever. And it literally doesn't take up any room. I got to tell you, it's the best investment you'll make. It's the most expensive one, but your mic is everything. You just want it to work flawlessly. So anyway, a little bit of advice. Yeah. I know we're off topic, but a little bit of advice, and that certainly.
Oh no, this all fits in there because I am the camera I'm using right now is actually the Brio, and I love it because you can record 10, 40, whatever it is.
No,
Anyway, HD.
it's 1080p, which is the highest resolution
Thank
for the
you.
camera. And it's great. By the way, I'm going to tell your audience that maybe record at 720p. And the reason is that if your computer can't keep up with 1080, if it keeps up with 1080, you're fine. You should record there. But you know what? 720, because here's what we're going to do. When you get your videos uploaded to our system or to any system, we're going to shrink those video files down so they can be delivered to the end user via the web. So everybody records it like this super high quality and creates these ginormous files. You know what somebody like me does? When I process all of them, I shrink them all down. So it's, and by the way, the quality is still there. You could never tell the difference. So I agree. Right. Most of the professionals would say in Hollywood, you want to record at 1080p. And by the way, I bought the camera for the same reason. I have to tell you that I actually record at 720p, and I might bump it up in my conversion. So I actually bump it up in software to get the 1080p, and I shrink the files down. I know it's a crazy thing, but it's just a little thing. What you don't want in your video is lag time. So the thing that we don't want is like where I jerk or hesitate, or you can't hear all my words. And sometimes when your computer can't keep up with that recording at 1080p, that's why I record lower sometimes. So just keep that in mind.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
And the mic I use is the Blue. They're high-end professional.
They're very good.
And then I use these for my speaker, to hear the stuff. So.
And that's another great tip as well, because you actually can hear better and you won't get any echo when you use and they're really not visible on you. I'm looking at you right now and they're not visible. So, I mean, they're almost invisible. And I think it's totally,
if I didn't mention, it'd be hard to know they were there.
Yeah, so, exactly.
And I could paint them. I could paint them if I want.
Exactly. They become skin color.
So I do a lot of interviews. Can I turn my interviews into a course?
My favorite topic in the world, right? I do at least one a week now. I've got one tomorrow actually on podcasting, believe it or not, with a podcast expert. I'm so excited about this because I love the idea of podcasting. And I do these interview courses literally every week because they're so fast. Let me give you the secret to it. I call it the interview method. I like to say I created the method, but I'm not really that arrogant, so I'm not going to say that, okay? But I didn't steal it from anybody. I just kind of made it up, and then I started using it. And I got to tell you, I've done like 80 or 100 of these. I love them. They're actually better than doing courses on my own in a lot of ways. Because now Chris and I have interchange. You can see right now. Tell me that this is not an engaging discussion that we're having. We're having an engaging discussion. We're both really into it. The people watching us are into it as well because we're going back and forth. It's not just me droning on about creating the perfect course or whatever. But I've created a course called the Interview Method. And I'm happy to give it away for free. And what it teaches you, it's a 30-minute course on how to do this method. But let me give you a couple of tips from it. Number one, you do a pre-interview call. That's key, because what we've got to do when we're doing the interview method is we have to break our interview up into lessons. So as Chris is asking me questions, he is probably thinking in the back of his mind, how can I break this video up? Not into, I just don't want to run it for 30 or 40 minutes. I don't want to make it a webinar. I'm asking very structured questions. I'm not also letting Ken go off and talk about crazy stuff. I'm keeping him on target. That's exactly what Chris is doing right now. He's interviewing me using the interview method to where he can take this video that we're doing right now on StreamYard, which is a tool that we both use and I love. $20 a month, you're good to go. It does everything you need. It's like CNN in a box, right? Kind of. And essentially, I will literally take this and chop it up into 7 or 8 lessons, or Chris will, or I'll do this tomorrow with my podcasting. The key to the whole thing, structured interview. Do not let them go off into la la land like a lot of podcasts do, or even video podcasts. We got to keep them focused. So if you do the pre-interview call, you get a compelling title, and I actually teach you how to write a compelling title. I won't go into that now. And then what we do is we structure 5 steps to a better life. 10 steps to this. It doesn't have to be steps. It can be whatever the topics are. Little buckets. The buckets are made to be 2 to 5 minutes answering. Now, of course, I talk a lot, so Chris already knew this, so he probably structured it accordingly. But 2 to 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes maximum, each little bucket. And then we have an introduction and a conclusion, and it's a structured course. Then I add a quiz to it, which I write using ChatGPT. I write my lesson descriptions after I get a transcript, and bada boom, bada bing, I've got my course. That's how you do it. I just gave you the whole course in about 2 minutes.
That's beautiful.
Really cool.
I also use a service called Cast Magic, which allows me to upload the audio into it. And then from the audio, it analyzes it. And then you can ask it the questions, the prompts, pop out all the information, show titles, everything. Everything you've discussed is
is all there under
Um,
Cast Magic. Good piece of advice as well. I have not used that because our system does most of that natively in our microcasting system. So I haven't had a need to use it, but I will check it out because we're always looking for new tools.
well, yeah, now I want to do it through microcasting so that I can test that out.
I love
And
it.
I mean, that's a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler to have everything in one platform, one
It
place
is.
to go.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Getting the transcripts, getting the subtitles, having kind of all be automated and then having the videos serve up automatically. But absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I love it. I love it. These are really good tools.
So I'm going to start wrapping things up here, but I want to give you well, what is something that you want to leave people with to understand about either microcasting or creating courses for it, something related to that, because this is so valuable.
Oh, great. No, absolutely. Well, I think that, the most important thing is that I think through microcasting, what we're trying to do is we want to be your partner in your e-learning endeavor. So what we do is we provide a lot of education, services, and other things. We don't charge for any of it. It's our business model. You might learn from our business model as well. We provide all the services that we do free of charge. And we do that for a reason, because we want you to utilize the software and utilize it the best way that you possibly can. Well, I want to coach you on building or anybody coaching myself or others, coaching you on the ability to build really engaging courses that are going to get consumed. I don't want you to build long courses that nobody ever watches and or not interesting and engaging. And that's really kind of one of the things that we kind of work on. Yeah, we have all the plumbing and everything, but it's the whole ball of wax. It's the business model. I help people with the business model. Are you going to be a hybrid model? Are you going to be on demand? Are you going to be live? Are you going to be membership based? Are you going to be commerce based? Thinking about all of that and how it all comes together is what we help people with. Again, just free of charge. It's part of our knowledge about how we see all of our customers working and what model makes the most sense. What model makes the most sense for you? If you're going to use the hybrid model is very simple, which is how much of my time are they going to get one-on-one? How much of my time are they going to get in group? And how much on demand are they going to get? And it's on a scale of 1 to 100. And we just figure out where that works, where that balance is that's right for your business. And then you associate a premium price or a value-based price. And we teach you in that. I have a whole module on how to do value-based pricing where you learn to get the real value out of what you're delivering, right? And that's the key. And so that's the part I love. It's not just the mechanics of e-learning, it's everything. And that's, I think, what our company stands for and what we're all about. We love doing it every day. I've been doing it all day, actually. I haven't been off the phone all day. This is fun.
And I found out from experience that that's exactly what you get. And I tell people, Ken over delivers to the nth degree. You will never suffer from not getting everything that you need to be successful with this platform and anything you do with it. So what is the one place that you would like people to go to learn more about you?
Sure, absolutely. So we have a site called microcasting.com that you can go to, and you can learn more about our platform, learn more about me, and all of that good stuff as well. And we have different programs. I want to also give you we have a little learning center. I'll give you the URL for that as well. This is free content for you to learn how to do e-learning really, really well, how to use the interview method, how to create the perfect course, how to set up your studio, and a lot more is all on our learning center at learningcenter.microcasting.com.
Easy enough. Ken, thank you so much for coming on today and giving us this, again, over-delivering on value. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thanks for the opportunity. It's been great talking with you as always.
All right. You take care.
You too.
Thanks for listening to Pivot Perspectives with your host, Chris O'Byrne. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advice on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.